Another week, another round of unilateral changes to Obamacare. This time, a group of GOP senators is warning that the results will, quote, radically alter the Medicare prescription drug benefit in ways that will increase premiums, reduce choices, and cause America's seniors to lose access to health plans they were promised they could keep. Joining us now, one of the senators who signed on to that warning in a letter to HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, John Cornyn of Texas, joins us live. Senator, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Shannon.
All right, let's talk about this because there have been, by our count, almost 30 unilateral changes now to the law in one way or another to make it workable or solvent, at least in the administration's estimation. You're very concerned about these latest changes, though, to the Medicare prescription drug benefit and how it's going to impact seniors. How will it do all those things which don't sound good?
Well, of course, we're talking about Medicare Advantage, which serves 16 million seniors. And this is really sort of a repetition of the, if you like what you have, you can keep it, false promise, because many seniors are finding that the $300 billion that has been cut out of Medicare has been then used to try to fund Obamacare. Medicare Advantage has been a tremendous success. It's growing because seniors like the innovation, the choice, and the range of services that they have available to them. But this, of course, threatens this private sector alternative and will force people into a single payer option.
Okay, something else I want to ask about that a lot of people may not understand, and it hasn't gotten as much attention this week, but it's another change the administration has been making when it comes to these states where their exchanges, their websites haven't been working. At last count, Oregon is one of the examples we hear. Not a single person has been able to sign up. And so there have been some questions about the subsidies, the federal tax subsidies that people would get that would help to make whatever plan they end up on more affordable. In a lot of those states where the exchanges haven't been working, we're now hearing the federal government is going to extend those tax subsidies to people who bought in the private market, which the subsidies, to my understanding, were never intended for. Again, it sounds like yet another change to the law that benefits the administration, but in the end, somebody's going to have to pay for it.
Well, this is another unilateral change, making it up as they're going along. But this seems to be a growing trend of the administration. But Congress did not provide for taxpayer subsidies in the state-based exchanges, only in the federal exchange. And so they basically got an IRS interpretation that would allow this to kind of paper over what was not provided for by Congress. So here we go again. Another lawsuit will be filed, has been filed, to challenge this, and it'll have to be decided in the courts.
Yeah, and we know that some of those very claims have already been proceeding on those specific issues. All right, you're a former Texas Supreme Court Justice, a former Texas Attorney General. You're very familiar with the Constitution. And when we hear all of these things, the question I get, I'm sure you get it even more than I do, is what is going to be done about what some people, your fellow senator there in Texas, Ted Cruz, calls it continued lawlessness. You know, the president and other members of the administration changing laws. This one and others are completely disregarding laws. The Attorney General of the United States telling state attorney generals they don't have to defend laws they feel in their legal analysis aren't defensible. What is Congress going to do about it? What is anyone going to do about it?
Well, you're right. That's the most common question I and my colleagues in the Senate get is, why can't you stop President Obama? Well, the truth is we will stop him through litigation, through the appropriations process, through greater oversight when we regain the majority of the United States Senate in November. Obamacare is a disaster. The president's credibility is at an all-time low, and it's going to drag down his party. But unfortunately, when a president ignores his oath to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States, and chooses rather to cherry pick which laws to enforce and which ones to waive or postpone, you have an unprecedented lawless situation that I know troubles a lot of people deeply, including me.
Okay, this week the president is due to release his budget. Do you think there will be some common ground, some areas that Democrats, Republicans, folks on the Hill, folks in the White House can work together to improve the bottom line when it comes to deficits and spending and taxes and cutting?
Well, I've read that Senator Patty Murray, the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, has already said that the Senate will not produce a budget in response to the president's proposal. And I've also read that the president's budget is going to largely ignore some of the common ground to fix entitlement programs and the like, and be more of a campaign document that he and his fellow Democrats can run on in November. I think that's a terrible disservice. This country still continues to spend a lot more money than we're bringing in the door. Debt continues to rack up. Medicare and Social Security continue to be on an unsustainable path. And the president, the person who is supposed to be in charge of the executive branch of government, continues to campaign when he's not even going to be on the ballot again. So it's a disappointment is a profound understatement.